The attendance tonight was 18,881. The gate was 15.9 million, the fourth highest gate in UFC history. The fight of the night was Swanson and Feely. If you were at the press conference, you know they talked me into two fight of the nights. We feel there weren't two fight of the nights, so we gave Talbot, Pfeiffer, Macy, and Pereira $50,000. So congratulations to them.
Dana, one of the most chaotic UFC events in history.
It's been a hell of a month, boys.
I guess talk to me now. I mean, obviously it ended with an exclamation point, but just getting over and through this event with everything that happened up until tonight, how are you feeling right now that's in the rear view? I'm
literally getting on a plane and going to my house in Maine, and I don't want to I'm turning my phone off. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to see anybody. It's been challenging, but fun. You know, when you have guys like Diego, you know, the guys that were involved in the co-main event tonight are just absolute studs. And think about this. Diego gets the call. He's not going to make weight. No problem. I'll take the fight. Right? That right there is already mentally challenging. You know, when you're on weight, you're going to do it, and you have to accept this fight. You know, we see it all the time. How many guys don't accept the fight and don't do it, right? Then he gets the call that he's out and we want to put somebody else in, and he accepts the fight. And it's a completely different style than what he trained for, and he still takes the fight. The guy he was supposed to fight is ranked in the top 3. This guy's like one above him. I mean, the mental challenges that were thrown at this kid tonight. And then Dan Ige, I'm assuming had already ordered the fight and was ready to sit home and watch the fight tonight. And now he's in the co-main event. So you couldn't have two bigger studs than these two guys tonight. Incredible.
It's one of the most memorable things that's ever happened. They both got done and said, hey, we'd like to fight at the Sphere. Do you think that's something you can do for both those guys and put them on that card after what they did tonight?
I do. I'll do anything for these guys. So, yeah.
Fantastic. So that was a great story in the co-main, and then the main event, exclamation point there. I mean, Alexpereira even more dominant than the first time around. I guess, what did you think of his performance tonight?
Yeah, I mean, he looked incredible. Fight started just like the last fight, chopping that calf kick, you know, busting his leg up. And then, I mean, oh, he got saved by the bell. No, he didn't. Yeah, no, he didn't. It was incredible. I mean, that guy is a monster, absolute monster. And Jiri, again, we're talking about two guys who stepped up. You know, pretty sure both of these guys had nagging little injuries too, you know, and didn't give a shit. Came in and fought.
Yeah. A lot of people are saying Alexpereira at heavyweight is awfully intriguing. I know we got Jones and Stipe, we got Aspinall and Blades.
I'm standing up there with the belt, and I had Joe Rogan in my ear the whole time we were up there. Let him fight heavyweight. Come on. Just do it. So, I know that's what people want to see. We'll see how this whole thing plays out.
Is there any chance that he injects himself into Jones Stipe, for instance? Or, I mean, you still committed to that? It's been
we're definitely committed to that. I mean, you know how I feel about John Jones, you know, as far as where he sits in the pound-for-pound rankings and the all-time rankings. And then Stipe is, you know, looked at as the greatest heavyweight of all time. So they deserve that fight.
Last thing I want to ask you about, Michael Chandler was here this weekend. You know, we talked to him. He said, listen, I'm still waiting around. I'm not letting him off the hook. What do you think? At this point, do you recommend Michael Chandler waits for Conor McGregor, or do you feel like it's time to throw some different names at him and get Michael Chandler back in the octagon?
I never recommend waiting. Time is not your friend in this business, but, you know, Michael's been around for a long time. He's accomplished a lot of things. He's at that point in his career. Maybe that's what he wants to do. He's not a dumb guy. He's a smart kid, so whatever he wants to do.
Do you have any time updates on Conor, like how the toe's healing?
No. I'm not even talking about Conor until Conor's done, ready to fight, and all that stuff. So.
Yeah. Aside from Conor, like the last time he fought, Alex Pereira and Diegolopes weren't even on the UFC roster. So when you signed Alex and you had Diego kind of step in on short notice, did you know what you were getting with those guys? Because since then, they've become two of the most reliable and popular fighters on the entire roster.
It's incredible, right? I mean, no, I don't think like that, especially when you have a guy that's coming in from kickboxing, you know, has this long kickboxing career and is older. coming into the UFC. I think the exact opposite. This guy's not going to do very well here. He's going to get taken down, smashed, submitted, all that kind of stuff. But man, was I wrong.
And I know you've had a lot of big free agent signings like Chandler, MVP, Kayla Harrison, but Alex Pereira has to be up there for, just biggest free agent signings you've had in promotion history.
No doubt about it. Could not agree with you more.
What did you make of iangarry's?
How come there's fucking... how many helicopters have you seen in Las Vegas fucking ever, right? We do press conferences and it sounds like a fucking MASH unit here or something. This is insane.
What did you make of iangarry's performance against MVP?
Yeah, Sean and Mick felt that fight would play out exactly the way it did. We talked about leading up to this fight. I had that fight a draw. Yeah. I mean, if they came out and said that fight was a draw, that's exactly what I thought that fight was too. Obviously, Ian won the first round. MVP won the second round, and it was 50-50 in the third round. You know what I mean? What was crazy was MVP had that top position, and he gave it up. He could have just rode that thing out and won the round. He stood up and gave up that top position. This is fucking crazy. You have another question for me?
Yeah. Ian said that he wants to fly to Manchester and is willing to weigh in as a backup for the welterweight title fight. Is that something you'd be willing to entertain?
I don't know. I'm not. No, you know how I am. I don't think about that stuff until later.
And then just two last ones for me. Michelle Watterson announced retirement. You had the video package queued up. What did you just reflect on her career with the UFC?
I love her. I love her family. And they're such awesome human beings. And it's always rough when you see, one of the longtime fighters and somebody that you truly care about. That's her last fight, and when they stood up at the end of the third round, both her eyes were swollen, and I say it all the time. This isn't a job. This is an opportunity, and time catches up with everybody in all of sports, and tonight was her night. So it's like a prank or something. This is so crazy. I love her family, and I wish her nothing but the best. I told her tonight this will always be her home. You ever want to come work out at the PI, you want to have lunch there, or you want to just use an office, whatever you want to do, it's always your home.
And then last one for me, a couple other veterans, Anthony-Smith, Andre Arlovsky, Cub Swanson came up short. What do you want for them what are you going to do with them in their careers?
Yeah, this is Andre's last fight. I don't know what Cub's going to do. Obviously Smith is already, a part of the team here and working here. I don't know. We'll see how it all plays out. But, all people that we truly respect and care about. So we'll see what happens.
Dana, you guys posted the main event finish on your socials and on your UFC YouTube. What goes into that decision? Is it ESPN's call, or do you think, hey, this is a chance to take Alex to an even higher superstar status?
Yeah, anytime that you can, when you have the sequence like we put out tonight,
that's probably people leaving.
This is insane. This is literally crazy. But we talked to ESPN, and listen, I said this a couple times when I first got into business with ESPN. You got to work out all the kinks and bugs and working with each other. We've done that, and I'm in a great place. I have a great relationship with ESPN, and we work together to build the sport, build the brand, build their platform, and we really work well together now. So that's how that works.
It's a pretty good place going into negotiations for next year.
Is that what?
It means you guys are in a pretty good place going into negotiations.
I've already had all the headbutting I could have with ESPN to get to where we are now, to have this incredible relationship that we have. I can't say enough good things about the relationship that I have with ESPN right now.
Okay.
As far as the rights deal coming up, it is what it is.
When you look at Alex, every time he wins, right, it almost makes the win Israel has over him more impressive. And that was an amazing rivalry with those two, but they still 1-1. Do you think that's something we could revisit one day for a trilogy fight?
What's the question again? What did you say?
Do you think we could ever see Izzy versus Alex 3?
I mean, they're still at the top of their game. You know, I don't know. You could. Who wouldn't want to see the fight? I mean, they're great fights. But what it sounds like to me, not just Joe Rogan and everybody else, they wants to see him go to heavyweight. And when we were talking to him tonight, he doesn't give a shit. He said, I'll fight at heavyweight. I'll fight wherever you want, whenever you want. He's ready to turn around and wants to fight again right away. So he's that guy. He's a savage, man. The guy's an absolute stud. And not to mention the fact that he's a smart guy and realizes time isn't your friend in this game. And get in there, accomplish as many great things as you can. Like you guys were saying, whoever said it earlier, look at what a huge star he's become in such a short amount of time, because people in the fight business love guys who want to fight, love guys who want to finish, love guys who want to compete. As a fight fan, he's like the ideal fighter that you would follow and become a fan of.
Dana here. Kind of going off that, you said $16 million gate. I know it was over 20 with Connor, but that's still not much of a drop-off. I mean, does that speak to Alex's star power, the card as a whole? What do you kind of attribute not many people doing refunds to?
Well, I think what happens is that we have built up this trust level with our fan base that they know when they show up that we're going to put on a good show. You know, and that was even with, you know, when the main event falls out, you're able to get refunds. So I think the thing was you could have got like a 50% refund after the fight fell off, and people didn't do it. They came and, you know, and came in for International Fight Week. So yeah, I think it's a testament to the trust that we have built with our fan base.
Is Alex one of the more unique personalities you've seen? I mean, he's going to the airport to come to the fight, stopping and changing some random person's tires. He has the walkout, just all these different kind of unique elements to him.
Well, how about the fact that when we called him, he was on vacation in Australia, you know, touring around there, going to children's hospitals, training in different gyms, doing things with sponsors, and the guy jumps on a plane and says, yeah, I'll take the fight, and goes right into camp to train as much as he can before the fight. He, like I said a second ago, he's the kind of fighter that fight fans fall in love with.
And I think you kind of alluded to what your pound-for-pound rankings still look like. I know we talked about it in Jersey, but where does Alex fit in, and what do you think he would have to do if he goes to heavyweight and gets that third belt? Is he number one then?
You're not wrong. He's another guy that has moved up and is willing to move up to heavyweight. So for all those that don't know what the pound-for-pound means, that's what it means, guys like that. But still, as long as John Jones is still in the conversation and talking, John Jones has never lost. He's never lost a fight. And like I say, the most amazing thing about John Jones, you can say whatever you want about him, his lifestyle outside the octagon, it's not like this guy was, you know, checking, you know, had the greatest nutritionists and was, you know, it's quite the opposite of what happened with John Jones outside the octagon, and he's never lost a fight.
And just last thing for me, I know Brianortega didn't end up fighting, but we had the situation in Saudi Arabia with Kelvin Gastelum where it was like close to weigh-ins. He had his opponent, you know, have to move up a division. It was kind of similar with Brian. Is there anything you can do, like in these situations where it's, you know, just before weigh-in and the fighter is informing their opponent that they're not going to make that weight class? Yeah,
it's one of the worst things that happens. And you know, when you have two guys and one guy makes weight and the other guy's, it sucks. But it's also something that you're going to run into when you're asking people to come in on short notice fights. I mean, it's tough. It's a tough part of the business.
What do you do with Brian going forward? Is he going to be at 55? I know he told me that he was originally planned a lightweight debut at the Sphere before this came up.
Yeah, I don't know. We got to see how he bounces back from this and let him recover, make sure he's okay before we even start talking about what's going to happen with him again.
Dana, a couple back here.
Yep.
Yeah. First, it was recently announced that for Noche UFC, the UFC will have its first title partner, Riyadh Season. What were some of the factors that compelled the UFC to do this?
I spent $17 million on production, and it's not even September yet.
But just one more on that note. I know it's something you've traditionally been very much against, but what, if anything, could Riyadh Season do to compel you to cross-promote? Obviously, there's that Francis Ngannou fight that you think is not going to happen, but is there anything Riyadh could do to maybe twist your arm on that?
Well, I actually respect Sheikh Turki. He's a nice guy, and we have actually formed a relationship over the last couple of months. I respect what he's done with boxing. How this is the only guy that could ever pull this off, making these big fights. And the fight was good. It was a good, entertaining fight. You didn't have guys that went in there and tried to avoid a fight so they could try to hopefully get to the next big payday. I think that what this guy's done in a short amount of time is pretty incredible. So we're obviously talking about lots of different options with this guy, and I respect him. I like him. So we'll see what the future holds.
Thank you.
Dana, over to your left over here.
Yeah.
What is your reticence, or has been your reticence, about Alex at heavyweight? Because you've never seemed to be into it, right? And even the way you described the story with Rogan, you don't seem to be into it. Why not?
It's not that I'm not into it. You know, the guy was a middleweight, then moves up to light heavyweight. You know, he's had a couple fights there, defended his title. But it's not like this guy's been in the division for 2 years and, you know, he ran through everybody that's in the division. It's like, come on, what's next? At least let him move to heavyweight. I think that when you think about this, like when those two squared up, not just him, Jiri too, when you see me standing in the middle of this guy, these guys are fucking monsters, man. They're big guys. Imagine that they were both middleweights at one time. It's insane. But they look good at light heavyweight. It's a whole nother level going up to heavyweight. I mean, even as big as John Jones is, as good as John Jones is, you know, when John Jones was moving up to heavyweight, we're like, this is going to be interesting. It wasn't.
But don't you think, like, when you look at it, you go, Alex was 230 today. I saw his thing on the scale. He was 230. If he puts on 15 pounds, he's the same weight as John. And you're talking about perhaps the greatest single accomplishment in combat sports history, right? You know, doing what Alex would do if he does that. And, you know, you normally embrace those kind of big historic things, and this one you don't seem to have that same fervor for.
Not true. If he cleaned out a division and we were like, there's literally nobody left for this guy to fight, and he's 37. If he wants to move up to heavyweight, but that's not the case. And when you think about, you said he was 230 today, right? Chuck and Forrest Griffin used to walk around at 230, and they would cut down to 205. That's not big. Some of these heavyweights are, you know, 265. They're cutting to 265. It's just a whole nother level. I mean, that's why I think this is the problem with the conversation that we're having here and why people aren't giving John Jones the respect for pound. This fucking guy destroyed the best heavyweight in the division. Easily made it look like nothing. John Jones is the pound for pound best fighter in the world and the greatest fighter fucking ever. Period. End of story.
Well, I don't disagree with that, but he hasn't fought in a long time. But, you know, in Stipe, or in a longer time.
He got hurt.
I get it. I'm not criticizing.
He was trying to fight.
I'm just saying, yeah, no.
Yeah, well, it's not like he's just fucking sitting around and doesn't want to fight. The guy came to
I'm
fight.
not saying
It's
that.
the first injury he's ever had. And listen to me. I'm not defending John Jones. You know what I mean? John Jones has been one of my biggest fucking headaches in the entire time that I've been in this company, right? And, you know, the guy hasn't been the model, fighter in the company. No matter what you think of John Jones, he's the fucking best ever, and he's the pound for pound best fighter in the world. And he's the pound for pound best fighter in the world.
Yeah. Well, except that he hasn't fought in the last year, so he's not.
Because he got hurt. He got injured.
But if you don't...
If you were coming into a fight and you fucking got hurt, that means you're not the pound for pound best fighter in the world anymore? How does that even make sense? It doesn't make sense.
When he fights,
right? If he was sitting out and fucking getting arrested and running around or whatever, and you're like, you know, well, John Jones is inactive, I'd say, maybe you're right. But as an educated adult who knows the fight business, you cannot deny that while John Jones is active, he is the greatest fighter in the world.
Did I not say that?
Yes. I don't know what you're arguing about here. I don't even know how we're in this conversation. Where are the helicopters when you need them?
Because you're screaming and hollering. Well, let's change to a better topic then. I was outside talking to Ige when you walked in, so I didn't hear what you said about him. But, you know, what do you think he did for his career tonight, taking this fight and performing the way he did, right? He had a guy that won his last two fights in a minute or less, and he performed extremely well, taking it on 3 hours' notice. What do you think he did for himself tonight?
He didn't lose. You can't lose. When you come in like Ige came in and you do what he did, this is not a loss. He was supposed to fight on the 20th. I think we should keep him on the card on the 20th and let him still fight again. And I think what he did is he already had a tremendous amount of street cred, and it just went through the roof tonight. But when you give him that level of respect, you have to give it to Diego Lopes. That guy went through hell this week, having to find out that, okay, I'll fight at a higher weight. Now this guy is out, and now I got to fight somebody else that I didn't train for. Two totally different styles. He was coming in with the grappler striker. He's coming in with Ige, who is a big fucking puncher and doesn't want to go to the ground. So much respect to both those guys.
Dana over here.
Dana, right?
Yep.
About a month ago, Roku released Fight Inc., and which gave fans access to see what goes on behind the scenes, know a bit more about the war room, and they also got to see the crazy stuff that you guys go through that we may not have seen in first glance. What do you think an episode of UFC 303 would look like on Fighting?
Yeah, no, this would have been a hell of an episode. Yeah, that's a one and done. We're never doing that again. It's disruptive at work, and it was fun to do one time, and I'm really happy with the response that it got, and so is Roku. But yeah,
Awesome.
it would have been a hell of a show.
Awesome. And another big moment from tonight was Peyton Talbot and his performance inside 20 seconds. What did you make of that, and what do you think we'll see from him out of the future?
Yeah, great fight for him. Good test for him too. This was supposed to be like a big test for him. That's why we did, if you don't know, with this fight, and we know now. That kid looked badass tonight. He is awesome, and I look forward to seeing this kid grow and what's next for him.
For sure. And a lot of people are talking about Brianortega's fight week attitude and how he approached the media and a lot of things this week. And then
What happened? I don't know anything
It
about
was
it.
just kind of like more bland than usual. I mean,
No, listen, I told the matchmakers yesterday, he was acting very strange during the weigh-ins yesterday, and yeah, it was definitely, he was definitely off.
yeah, I was going to say this.
I don't know what's wrong. I don't know if he has personal problems. I don't know if he probably started cutting weight, trying to get down to weight early and probably didn't feel great, or whatever the thing was. There was definitely, I don't disagree with you. There was something off with him. So that's why I was saying when he was asking me about what do you do with Ortega now, you let Ortega rest and heal himself and figure out whatever's going on with him. And then when we feel that he's right, we'll talk about a fight again.
For sure. And last one for me. I know we're less than 3 months out from Noche UFC, and I know you guys had a lot on your plate this week, but is there a timeline when we can expect an announcement for the main event and all that stuff for that?
Yeah, so today was a big day because our board of directors and a bunch of other people flew out today and wanted to see where the fuck all this money was going. So I walked everybody through the, I have this, you know how I am with these rooms, I have to see things on a wall, and you can't just talk to me and I can't do it in my head. Like these guys will call me up, fucking Sean, Mick, and Hunter call me up and say, all right, we want to move this fight, we want to do this side. Stop talking to me. I'll see you in the war room. We go in the war room, I look at it, I can see it. So I built this whole room out that walks you through exactly what's going to happen at the Sphere. So I walked everybody through it today. I mean, our board of directors and all the other guys that came in were just fucking blown away, and everybody's so pumped about this thing. I don't know what the hell you asked me, but the fights will be announced soon. Is that what you asked me? Yeah. We'll announce the fight soon because there's a lot of production that has to start like tomorrow on this thing.
Thank you, Dave.
It's going to be incredible. It's going to be the most incredible fucking thing that anybody has ever seen in sports.
Dana, in the Sphere, it's going to be right here.
Hey,
In the Sphere, it's going to be incredible. How do you make it incredible for the people watching on pay-per-view?
boom. Great question, my brother. So normally when we do a fight, we have a truck, there's going to be 4 trucks for this event. There's going to be 4 trucks. And we have assembled like literally the most rock star team on the planet. When I eventually get you guys in and walk you through what we're doing, I mean, the amount of Oscars, Emmys, Grammys, the list goes on, that the team that we've assembled to pull this thing off. But there will be a director who will just be filming the inside of the Sphere to make people at home feel like they're there. What we're going to attempt to pull off, I told you a million times, you're like, oh, he's always fucking, I'm telling you right now, this will never, ever be replicated. Nobody will ever do this again. It won't make sense for anybody. It's just too much money. This will be one of the greatest things you've ever seen live, and we're going to try to pull off one of the greatest things you've ever seen on TV, too.
Awesome. Just one question from me, one more. Iangarry said that you guys offered him Colby Covington. Is that true? And did
Well, he
Colby
was
give you a
screaming
reason?
at us through the octagon, I want Colby Covington next.
Did Colby reject the fight before? Did he give you a reason
No,
at
no,
all?
no.
Or
Colby doesn't reject fights. Colby will fight.
okay, thanks.
Yep.
Dana,
to your
just
right
one right
here.
here in the back.
So speaking of short notice fights and everything like that, your production team coming down to the wire with everything going on. I know you're always high praise of them. What did you make of everything going on tonight?
I got the best team in all of sports, man. I'm telling you. We had to. Hunter, what time do you think we did the weigh-ins? Yeah. We did the weigh-ins at 6:30 tonight. So we had to do the weigh-ins. They had to edit. They had to cut. Had to build. Come up with this whole promo. They didn't even know. We told them like maybe 20 minutes before that. So these guys are ridiculously badass. Our production team is the best in the world.
I also want to follow up one quick thing. You were talking to Kevin earlier about weight classes and everything. Do you feel like Diego's and just this co-main as a whole, that kind of, in a way, just looking at 165, would you ever be open to the idea still of trying to open up a 165 division, or not really?
Never, ever. Not while I'm here.
Dana,
Yeah.
right back here. Dana, International Fight Week, obviously all week you had the convention, you also had the Hall of Fame. How happy are you with what you were able to bring to the fans leading up to fight night in terms of the festivities?
Am I happy about it?
Or just how do you feel
overwhelmed.
about everything came together and what you were able to bring to the fans? And can you tease something new in the years to come to improve it?
Well, that's what International Fight Week is, and every year we try to bring something different and new. I thought what was cool this year is the deal that we did with Tops, and me and Ruben went out there, and Ruben was giving all those cards away. I mean, some of those groups of cards are worth $4,000, $5,000, and they were literally, we did this, opening, and he gives those cards away. I love that, and lots of other things that we've tried. And yeah, and Power Slap. Who went to Power Slap last night? It was fucking awesome. We had an unbelievable night last night with Power Slap, and the answer is yes. Love International Fight Week and always trying to come up with new, fun things for the fans.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dana, hey, perhaps it's very premature to ask this, but Ecuador, I'm from Ecuador, and all the Ecuadorians would like to know if we can be able to see Michael Morales on Sphere on September.
What's the question? Oh, we haven't announced the card yet, sir.
This event would be like the best of the all of events again in UFC.
What's he asking me? Is what? Oh, well, first of all, I will tell you this about the Sphere. It will be the biggest gate of all time, number one. Number two, it won't be the greatest UFC event of all. It will be the greatest sporting event of all time. This is gonna. Did any of you see U2? Has anybody gone there and seen U2? Okay, very few of you. Did any of you see the other thing? The other, what is that? Life or whatever the hell that thing is? You saw it? And what was your opinion? What did you think? So what's crazy is, I don't want to tell too much because we got a documentary coming out that you guys got to watch, but Tom Brady called me and said, "You want to go to U2 with me?" I said, "When is it?" He said, "This weekend." I said, "I'm in." I went to U2 and I watched the show. And halfway through the show, I was like, holy shit, this is incredible. And immediately I realized that U2 was not the star of the show. The Sphere is the star of the show. And what they had done was cool and whatever. We are going to take this thing to a level that it's just, and I've told you about my what I think of Mexican people, right? One of the baddest human beings that have ever walked the face of the earth are Mexican. Mexican people are very tough, durable people that work hard. They support each other and very loyal to other Mexican people. They'll work hard all week and spend their entire paycheck to support other Mexican people. And this show is literally going to be a love letter to the people of Mexico, their history, their heritage, their toughness, their durability, and their future. I'm telling you, bless you, sir. It's going to be awesome. I'm really, really, really pumped up and excited about this. So if you can't tell.
Real quick, Dana, I assume you were too busy the last couple of days to see the NHL draft at the Sphere, but
Yes, I was.
did you get any feedback maybe from what they were able to do from your team of what they saw?
What I did see was how they did the rankings went or the draft thing went all the way up. That's going to be like fucking kids playing with crayons compared to what we're going to do. Literally, kids playing with crayons.
Dana,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yep.
Can you, with Alex Pereira, can you just talk about him bringing life back to the light heavyweight division? It's always been the glamour division of the UFC. Tito, Chuck, John Jones. Then after John Jones, it was just bleh for a little bit, and now he's brought life back to it.
Well, that's rude. Yes, you're right. He has, and that's why everybody wants to see him jump to heavyweight so fast. I want to see him fight some more guys in that division. So, yes, the answer is yes. Yeah, he sure has.
Can you, when Myra Bueno Silva ran over to you after her fight, what was she saying to you?
She was spraying blood all over me and Ari Emanuel. I had blood on my face, on my head, on my suit, in my mouth. She said, "Can I jump out of the octagon?" And I fucked up and said yes. I should have said, "I'll talk to you in a little while." But she, what she was saying. She's tough. She's like, "This is bullshit. You shouldn't have stopped this fight." And I said, "No, this was a good stoppage. You have a nasty cut on your forehead, and you're bleeding all over us."
And my final question, it's a little older news, but you've been around the fight game for a long, long time. What were your thoughts on Ryan Garcia? He was acting crazy up until the fight. Then everyone was like, he's not fit to fight. Then he says he was faking the fight. Goes out there, beats Devin Haney, tested positive. What were your thoughts on this whole fiasco?
Well, first of all, none of that is any of my business. You know what I mean? It's not my card. It's not my whatever. But I think that with all, I hate talking about drug testing, but with all of our knowledge that we have in the years that we've been drug testing, we believe the people who handle the drug testing that he had tainted, he took a tainted supplement, and that he did not cheat. And if he had the right people around him and had the right, that wouldn't have happened. We're pretty confident it was a tainted supplement. I got no skin in this game. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? It's not my fight. It's none of my business, and not my place to even talk about it. But from what my team tells me, and these guys are the fucking best, tainted supplement.
Dana, right here in the front.
Yep.
You're right here. We've talked about strikers over the years. Anderson Silva is one of the most decorated strikers. Israel Adesanya is Alex Pereira now the best striker that you have ever seen in the octagon?
That's a good question. Off the top of my head, I don't know. I mean, I have to, Shogun Hua. I mean, there's so many guys that have been here. But there's no doubt about it. Like that gentleman just said, he brought back excitement and energy to the light heavyweight division, and he's a bad boy, man. Kicks, punches, the way he his defense, the way he blocks punches, he's definitely up there.
One more for me. In terms of meteoric rises, have you ever seen somebody ascend as fast as Alex Pereira? We saw how quickly Conor McGregor moved up, but I think this is even faster.
Yeah. No, we have. Israel too. I mean, you got to give it to Israel, especially these guys that came from, one-dimensional sports, and then they're able to come here and compete like they have. It's very impressive. But he's definitely one of the fastest. I mean, that actually might be a stat, right? Is he the fastest? Fastest double champ ever. So, the answer is yes. What the fuck I was just babbling about before that. Yeah, the answer is yes.
In less than 3 years, Alex Pereira's got 8 wins, titles in 2 different weight classes. Do you think he's the face of MMA?
Yeah, listen, you saw it tonight. What happens when he walks in. I think, I told you, what I tell you? 3rd and 4th highest gates are him. Yeah, 3rd and 4th highest gates are him. So, I don't know if he's the face, but he's definitely one of the biggest stars in the sport.
What were you talking to Dan and Lopez about through the fence after their fight?
I was talking about
to Dan. And
when I went up there, no, I just told them thank you, and we respect you guys so so much, and when guys do what these guys did, it's like if you look at the people who've stepped up in the last three events or whatever it is. Look at Whitaker. I mean, Whitaker just went through this same exact thing, and I said the night at the press conference, I don't care what you try to say. I don't know what anybody's going to say about that. Fucking alexpereira is a bad dude, man, and to have that switched out, and especially where he was sitting in the rankings, Whitaker, for him to accept that fight and take it, it's a different day and age, man. These guys are all built different than back in the day, and you have to give a lot of credit to the coaches. I mean, I don't know if you remember back in the fucking day when those guys wouldn't let John Jones Whitaker. I mean, Whitaker just went through this same exact thing. And I said the night at the press conference, I don't care what you try to say. I don't know what anybody's going to say about that. Fucking alexpereira is a bad dude, man. And to have that switched out, and especially where he was sitting in the rankings, Whitaker, for him to accept that fight and take it, it's a different day and age, man. These guys are all built different than back in the day. And you have to give a lot of credit to the coaches. I mean, I don't know if you remember back in the fucking day when those guys wouldn't let John Jones fight fucking Chael Sonnen on short notice. Thank God those fucking days are gone, okay? That's the silliest thing I've ever seen in the history of the sport. So you got to give a lot of credit to the camps and the coaches.
Yeah, and changing pace a little bit, Callum Walsh, the Irish boxer, he's been around the fight week. Did you see his fight earlier this month?
Who'd you say?
Callum Walsh.
Oh, yeah. I love Callum Walsh, yeah. Callum Walsh has been like a fun project for me, man. I love the kid. Freddie Roach really believes in him. And
last year...
We're gonna do a fight with him in Ireland.
Last year you told me that he would be 1 year away from a world title shot. Do you still think he's kind of...
We're gonna do a big fight with him in Ireland.
For a world title?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a world title. I don't know what the title is.
Yeah.
This is Tom Loeffler is his promoter.
Yeah.
This is like, I'm doing this for fun because I like the kid and I like boxing, and I have no skin in the game other than I like the kid, and I'm having fun helping him build a career.
Tom told me that he likes a fight with Xander Zayas. He's represented by Bob Arum. Do you think you'd be able to work with Bob for a fight like that?
He's such a dick. I don't know. I don't want to. But I guess if it was good for Callum, I guess we could try to figure it out. And you imagine trying to work with fucking Bob Arum. You know what I mean? Look at all the shit that this guy has said, even through COVID. Dana White is what did he call me? A guy with flawed intelligence. And yeah, you're a real fucking genius, buddy. You've done a lot of great things with this sport. The guy basically had him and Don King that ran the sport for all those years. And what the fuck did he do? And where's he at now? What's his company worth? You know what I mean? Yeah, you're a real fucking genius talking about people with flawed intelligence. Yeah, me and Bob Arum probably wouldn't work together.
Thanks, Dana. Congrats tonight.
Yeah, please. Thank you.
Dana in the back, in
Yep.
the middle, right straight down in the middle.
Hi.
With as fast as the business is moving, you've got productions all around the world now. Is the business at a place where fighters really have to just always be ready? It's not just when your fight is coming up, because things seem to fall out all around the world. And so do you need fighters to understand that now?
Well, you're either that guy or you're not. You know what I mean? It's not like, hey, everybody on the roster needs to be ready and needs to go. You're either built that way or you're not built that way. And that's what I was just talking about a second ago. We got a new generation of guys here that now get it and are willing to step up and take opportunities. I say it all the time. This isn't a job. This is an opportunity. And like Dan Ige. Dan Ige was fighting here on the 20th, and he slid in tonight as the co-main event on International Fight Week, lost the fight, basically got a standing ovation in the place, right, for losing the fight, and that's what people respect. Those are the type of fighters that people like. You're either that guy or you're not, though. There's there's plenty of people I could rattle off right now that are not those guys, you know? But there's plenty of people we could that are.
Dana, last December you took, right here in the middle, last December you took the fight night to Austin, and you said your staff wanted to go somewhere else. When will you be coming to Minneapolis?
That's a good question. Soon. Minneapolis wants us. You know, they wanted us to go for that event, and my staff loves the people up there that work at the arena. So soon. We'll start hitting a lot of places now that we haven't been in a while. Places like, first of all, Minneapolis is one of the funnest cities that I've ever been to. Number one. Number two, we're gonna get back up to Seattle. We haven't been there in a while. We gotta hit some of these places in Canada that we haven't been in a while. You know, we got a lot of options. I don't have an answer for you, sir, but someday.
Yeah, just one more here.
Yep.
You mentioned Alex staying at light heavyweight for his next fight. You look at the rankings. Number 1, Prochazka beat twice. Number 3, Jamal Hill, he beat him. Number 4, Blachowicz, he beat him. Rakic, 5, coming off loss. Can number 2, Magomed Ankalaev, who's unbeaten in 12 straight, get his title shot now?
I don't know. We'll see. Yeah.
Alex said before the event he wanted to fight him so he could prove that he has wrestling.
I like it. All right. Well, there you go. Yeah. Yeah.
And just last one, all 5 finishes tonight were knockouts. Should people shut up about the new gloves leading to less knockouts?
Hey, let me tell you what. Me and him were looking at each other. Are these gloves fucked up? Believe me, we were saying the same thing. You guys had us wondering too. So then when he knocked Jiri down the first time, I looked at him and I said, I guess it ain't the gloves. And he goes, I don't think it matters what he's fucking wearing. So that might be true. I don't know. I think it's just a coincidence. Hopefully.